acknowledge and respect the traditional custodians whose ancestral lands we are meeting upon here today. We acknowledge the deep feelings of attachment and relationships of Aboriginal peoples to country. We also pay respects to the cultural authority of Aboriginal people visiting or attending from other areas of South Australia and Australia present here. And then I think I might hand over to you, Hayden. So we're very lucky to have Hayden from ClickView join us today, and he's going to be leading this session for teachers getting started with ClickView.
Thanks, Abigail. I really appreciate it. G'day, everyone. There's a few friendly names that I can see on the participant side of things, so really great to see you. I might just see how we go sharing my screen here. And for whatever reason, the Teams app was really struggling today, so I'm doing it through the web app, but we'll see how we go. So you might see yourself for a second there, Abigail, which will just be very confusing. Can you see that okay? Is that working?
Yep, perfect.
Awesome. So, as Abigail said, my name's Hayden. I am from ClickView. I've been working for ClickView for a number of years now, about 4 or 5 years, and I'm actually based here in Adelaide. So I live over at Marion, just around the corner from a few schools, I'm sure, a fair way away from Ginny over at Cummins, and I saw. From Roman Mitchell, there was someone there as well. So, but I am in the area. So if we do have any questions or bits and pieces that do come up as you dive into the platform as a result of this this enterprise agreement with the department, please reach out, give me a yell, hop on the phone, and I'm here for a chat and very willing to work with yourselves and your staff to make sure you're getting the most out of the platform. So the agenda today. And I do apologise if, I can see we've got a few people who are already ClickView customers before this, enterprise agreement sort of came in. I do apologise if I go over some stuff that you're probably already aware of. I'm going to dive into a little bit of detail about what ClickView is and some of the stuff around our platform and the benefits they bring. So hopefully you'll get a few tidbits out of that, even if you do have a pretty good idea. I'll talk very, very briefly about sort of our partnership at a top level, do a bit of a product demo, and then we'll just go into sort of next steps for you guys and any questions you might have. So just a little bit about ClickView, and I'll try not to read these whole things so we can dive into the fun stuff. But essentially, we're just trying to engage the world's learners through video. We've been doing this for about it was actually our 20th anniversary this year as a platform. And basically we bring all the best content from either within Australia or around the world into a platform with great learning tools and resources that are going to extend your students' learning, turn it from a passive lesson into something a little bit more active, and really give them learning outcomes that are directly aligned to the Australian curriculum. At a top level, we're mainly in Australia, and this is where we got our start. Our head office is over in Sydney, but we are actually also in the UK and the US now. So 5,500 schools around the world, and actually more schools now that the departments are on board here have ClickView. We're talking about 1.2 million active users, 600,000 teachers there. And on that point, before this, a big percentage of secondary and sort of R to 12 schools in Australia are already ClickView users. And we work with 26 enterprise partners. So, probably closest to this department deal is we've had a deal with the Department of Education in Victoria for about 5 years. And we're obviously working with a number of Catholic dioceses and things like that as well. So we have good experience working with these sort of peak body partnership deals. What are you going to find in here? You're going to find high quality videos that are both engaging from a visual perspective. I mean, it's a video, you'd hope so, but also culture responsive, award winning. We send our content out to various educational awards around Australia and around the world. We win a bunch of them. And, you know, big focal points for us are duration. We know students have short attention spans, so keeping those videos nice and short and to the point. We'll look at those learning outcomes and how it's relevant to both the curriculum but current affairs. And then we're looking at, you know, that cultural relevance as well. So you know that the videos in ClickView are going to have all of those capabilities. And we also produce videos as well. We have a production company as part of our office in Sydney, and also an office in Carlton in Melbourne that produce videos just for ClickView, aligned to the Australian curriculum, resources and all those goodies. And essentially our content covers everything from that reception level all the way up into 12s. And we also work with a few tertiary customers as well. So we've got that content coverage from a learning level perspective, but also our content dives into things like careers, into emotional learning, into health and well-being. We've got teacher professional development content on the platform as well. So general life skill stuff that you may not expect to find on the platform, you're definitely going to find in ClickView, along with all of your general capabilities and things like that as well. So variety of content is a big thing as well. We have animations, live action productions, documentaries, all your favorite films and TV shows, whether that's for English or, you know, every now and then when you can't find something on Netflix as well, it may come up. But, when you're in the classroom, we have content from all kinds of different platforms, lengths, things like that are going to hopefully align to your outcomes. And content is something that we really live and breathe, as you can probably already tell at this point. I've already mentioned it. It is aligned to a learning outcomes, and I'll show you when we dive into the platform. A large percentage of our content, particularly the content that we produce at ClickView, is directly aligned to the Australian curriculum, and we're actually updating that in line with ACARA 9. I'm sure you're all probably thinking you're trying to get around ACARA 9. By the time you get your head around it, they'll have released ACARA 10. We're probably thinking a bit the same at the moment. But yeah, we're trying to get everything up to date as quickly as possible for ACARA 9 as well. But you can see it's all linked there as well, which is great. And then to the benefits of ClickView, aside from that curriculum alignment, it's more than just great content. We've got those resource packs. We've got the ability to clip and edit videos to take key parts out that you might see as particularly relevant for your class. We've got interactive question sets that can be played to students in real time, and those results and that feedback will actually come onto your account in real time as well. So the tooling here is really about extending a video from a part of a lesson to turning into a full lesson, or even potentially a full unit of work that you can do around it. And we'll dive into some of the detail about that as we go into the platform and show you around. Now, to the, I suppose, the exciting or boring stuff, depending on how you look at it. Why has the department partnered with ClickView? And Abigail may like to speak to this a little bit more later as well. But essentially, from our perspective, it means better outcomes for more schools. I mean, we've been working with the department in trying to organise how this is going to work for a number of years now, since before I started at ClickView. And we've been working with schools one-to-one for the 20 years that ClickView's sort of been a platform. Our partnership with the department is obviously going to allow consistent outcomes for all schools who potentially haven't interacted with ClickView before. So that's really exciting. Obviously, we've got the ability to run these webinars and things in a combined capacity to get the information delivered to schools directly. Really excited to work with key people at the department in delivering training, potentially academies and various bits and bobs where we can all work together to make sure schools have really, really good outcomes as well. And then we're also going to be looking at some enterprise level features down the track. What that will look like, that's obviously still a discussion that needs to be had, but potentially we could do something like a department or the Department of Education South Australia library, which all schools can access and pull resources from and things like that. So we're really excited to obviously work with the department. As I said, this has been sort of a work in progress for a few years now. And I've been working with schools very closely in South Australia for the last number of years as well. So I'm really excited about the possibilities that this can bring. Awesome. So that is my basic slideshow in a nutshell. I'll just pause really briefly because of my thing. I can't see the chat. Have there been any questions or anything that's popped up? Is there anything anyone would like to ask about that?
There's been nothing in the chat, but we are a very small group tonight. So if you do have a question, please feel free to just unmute and ask away. Or pop it in the chat and I can ask Hayden as well.
Yeah, great. Any excuse for me to stop talking, I'll talk for days. So go for it. That brilliant. All right. Well, I've obviously done a good job explaining, or it's like, you know, the middle of the term and everyone's just enjoying the dulcet tones of my voice. So I'll kick on to the demo, but please, this is probably the point where you might have a few questions. Jump in and ask. So what I'll show you first is I'm actually just going to hop onto this page here, and we'll share some links with you, some key information after the webinar. I obviously don't want to give you links on the screen because that's just confusing. But one of these links I'll give you is just the landing page for ClickView. And the reason I want to show you this is just for this lovely how to sign in graphic here. So basically, this little GIF is going to run through. To get into ClickView, you're going to want to go to EdPass. It'll come back. There we go. You're going to want to go to EdPass and sign in. Then you're going to want to go to the My Apps section, and you'll find a ClickView tile there and sign in with your @school's email address. And that should work for every school. Now, I know that some existing customers, I'm not sure exactly which ones are on the line at the moment, you may not have signed in through EdPass before. You may have your own private instance of single sign-on. So if you do run into any hiccups with that or you're not sure, please ask me. But if you're brand new to ClickView, you should sign in through there and it should be no issues at all. And that'll get you into the platform, whether you're a staff member or a student as well, which is really, really good. Now, once you log into ClickView, and I'll just refresh just to make sure it hasn't logged me out, beautiful, you're going to find yourself on the dashboard. Your dashboard is your homepage. Just to have a really quick look at current affairs sort of content and things like that. So a really good place to go to if you're looking for new releases, for example. If you're looking for some content around Reconciliation Week, some poetry content, respectful relations. We've got the coronation of King Charles up here, some stuff about the voice to Parliament. So you can already see if there's any special days coming up, if there's anything in particular going on in the world, or just, you know, you're interested to see what other schools are using, because we'll throw that stuff up here as well. It is a really nice place to just have a bit of a browse and kind of see what's on the platform. Now, the first button I always like to touch on when I do a staff training is this button here, search by curriculum. It may look slightly different depending on how your setup of ClickView is. It's much for muchness across R12 or secondary. If it's asking you to complete your profile, which it may very well do upon first login, do that, because it will help the algorithm give you videos that you're after, and also it will enable this search by curriculum button. So we'll click in here, and what we're able to do is essentially dive into each key subject area and go all the way down to an ACARA code. So as an example, I'm just going to be boring and select English for today. Sorry to any English teachers. Say I'm teaching Year 9s, and say I'm teaching them literacy. Now, of course, at any point along this pathway, I can stop, have a bit of a browse, see what's available. Still 5 pages of stuff there. I don't have time to look through 5 pages of stuff. So I'm going to go down to creating text as a substrand, and I can dive into a particular ACARA curriculum code there. So it's a really great way of diving into the platform, just seeing what's available. Now, obviously, as teachers, you know what content is going to achieve the learning outcomes you're after. So it's not to say this is exhaustive. There's only 3 videos in this particular ACARA code. This is not an exhaustive list of what's going to achieve those learning outcomes for you. It's just an indication. These are key videos that we've picked up, and we've said, hey, these are ones we know are going to work really, really well within that scenario. So it's a really great way of diving into the platform. What you can also do is there's an options button next to any video. Click on that and click the View Curriculum Links button at the bottom. And you can actually see how that's aligned to the curriculum, and it's got all those content descriptors as well. So for anyone who uses a lot of YouTube or various other platforms, this is obviously one of the standout features here, is the fact that these videos, again, have either been selected and curated or produced for Australian schools, aligned to the curriculum, and you're going to get those really, really great outcomes. So this one here, Year 9, Year 10 English. Fantastic. Now, what I always say is if you do get stuck in ClickView, or you go do a search and you get a bit stuck somewhere, click on the big ClickView and it will just take you back to the dashboard and reset everything. And that enables me to start searching. So this is the other way I find content, and that's via a keyword search in the top right-hand corner. Now this works much like any sort of keyword search on any platform. So you'll throw a topic in here, or you might throw a TV show series or something like that in here to find stuff. So just to show you an example, I'm going to type in Shakespeare. And what you'll notice is I don't hit enter straight away. Now, the reason for that is you get all of these extra options below the search, which are going to help make it a little bit more granular and help you pick out the key videos you're sort of after. Now, these suffixes do come in handy to make your search a bit more particular. I mean, videos, if you're looking for a movie or a doco, dive straight in, save yourself the time. But this button here, the series, or this section here, the series section, I find is most valuable to me. The reason for that is I might be searching for something like, I don't know, Behind the News, or David Attenborough's Planet Earth, Mythbusters, for an example. And then if I type one of those searches in, you'll get episode 5, and then you'll get episode 48, and then you'll get season 4, and it's all over the shop. And it's just based on various algorithmic things that picks up those searches. You go far enough down and say it's Mythbusters as a search, you'll end up picking up videos for Greek myths or something. So it's really important that if you're searching for a series, you type in the series name and click on the series here, because it will all be listed in production year. So you can get each and every episode as they come up. Really great for your behind the news and things like that as well, because you'll also see the little clips that recreate automatically for you to save you time. So definitely utilize that function there. Now, the next way to filter a little bit is if I do hit enter on a keyword search, you'll see I get all the results here, and there's 459 results. It's a lot of videos to sort of trawl through if you're trying to find a video for your lesson. But you can see on the side here, we've actually got these filters, and these are really, really handy. Video sources is going to differ for each of you guys, particularly our customers from before this deal. You possibly got your own school library and things like that. You will have a primary and a secondary library, depending on if you're R-12 or secondary only. You've obviously got this exchange button here. Everyone's going to have access to that. So it will look slightly different for everyone who's using ClickView. Essentially, your primary library and your secondary library is ClickView's content that we've either produced ourselves or had someone produce for us. You've got your exchange here, which is your exhaustive list of every movie and TV show that's been added to ClickView over the last 20 or so years. And then you've got a workspace here as well, which I'll dive into a little bit before the end, but that's like videos that you basically add to ClickView yourself. Now you got your categories, subject areas essentially. So for Shakespeare, we've got English, Shakespeare's its own category, got drama, history, pretty straightforward stuff. The best sort of search tip I can give you is to scroll down, and there's a blue button here that says show more filters. You click on that one, and then you're actually getting videos based on the features within them. Now I say this is the best way to search because when you're doing a video, you need to do it with intent. And I'm sure you guys all know this. Students watching video today go in, especially younger students, go in with the intention that it's entertainment. And look, part of the reason we use video in the classroom is for engagement and entertainment. Inevitably, it's an engaging way to deliver a lesson. But we don't want that to be the whole intent of the lesson, because then students won't take anything out of it. So using these features, I'm able to go, okay, I've got an idea for a lesson. Here's the reason I want a video for this lesson. what do I need? So for Shakespeare, I'm going to go ahead and say that a lot of students are going to go into a Shakespeare topic and say, that's pretty boring. So with that in mind as a teacher, I'm thinking, okay, I want a video to engage my students at the start of the topic as a bit of a hook tool. And then I'll grab some resources and stuff if there are some to save myself time on a worksheet. Awesome. So with that in mind, I'm going to grab something with closed captions. Just because we find it helps kids concentrate. Closed captions also really good from a literacy perspective. Studies are showing. So closed captions, if you can use them, great. Resources, that's going to make sure we have some worksheets to go along with the video here. Maybe this is one we are playing in front of the class, so let's grab it in high definition. We'll steer clear when we're teaching Year 9, so we'll steer clear of like the M and MA Shakespeare videos, go PG and below. You can choose the production year if you want. So if you want something more recent, go for it. But I'm going to go duration short. And that's going to ensure every video in this search is less than 10 minutes in length. Now, I could also go, okay, well, I actually want a video in the secondary library that ClickView's produced as well. So let's go for that as well. And just like that, we've gone from about 450 odd results down to 20 odd. Which is going to save us a lot of time in the long run in terms of finding content that's going to meet those key deliverables you're sort of after. So really, really handy from that perspective. Are there any questions about those filters or anything before I move on?
There hasn't been any questions about filters. There's been a few questions about subscriptions, but I think I've been able to answer those. So I reckon we're okay, Hayden.
Brilliant. Awesome. That's fantastic. So we're in here. Once you find your video, essentially you click on it and hit play and off it goes. Your video player in ClickView is very, very similar to video players that you'll find on other platforms. So you can scroll on the bottom. You can turn on your closed captions. If you really want to confuse your kids, turn on English United States. I'm sure they'll find that very interesting. You can go your quality here. So if the internet's having a good day, turn it up. If it's having a bad day, turn it down a little bit. Volume, full screen, all the usual stuff. If your video has resources, they will appear on the right-hand side of the screen. So just to click on this one and show you what it looks like. Oops, sorry, I've clicked off the wrong screen. There we go. Back to this. And here is this lesson plan book that comes with it. So be honest with you, I kind of planned to pick this one because it's got a good resource pack with it. But this is a video that ClickView actually produced. And then we created the resources to directly align to the video, which all feeds directly into the Australian curriculum. So got the Shakespeare lesson plans for the ClickView library. There you go, all by ClickView. And you can see the worksheets. There's answers for you. Here's some short answers as well. If we scroll down a little bit more, there's some pictures here. I don't know if that's pin the tail on the donkey or what that is, but there's another activity there. There's some essay questions. There's some more short answers. And I can just keep scrolling through this. There's just pages and pages of goodies here. To show you another example, I think this comprehension question pack, why does it keep putting me to that page when I do that? Anyway, apologies for that. Go to my download here, comprehension questions. You can see we've even got smaller question packs. So you don't have to go into the 100-page copy. You can kind of dive into some of the small stuff. And these are ePDFs. So if you want students to fill out the answers on their own device and flick it back to you, you can absolutely go down that pathway as well. So lots of opportunities there with the resource packs on the side. If I scroll down a smidgen more, you can see there is an info tab here. Essentially, I always say, you might not have time to watch all of the video on occasion. So you can go in here, watch part of it, have a look at the info tab, see if there's any curriculum links and sort of get a gauge on whether it's going to work for your class. The other great thing about this info tab here is if you find a video resonates really, really well with your students, see if it's part of a series, and then you can click into that series and view the other videos from that collection of videos, because you might find they tackle things in a similar way that also resonates well with your students. I'll skip over the interactive videos for the time being and go to the share button here. So you can see there's a link. I know every school uses slightly different learning management systems. I know there's some schools on Frog. There's some who use Daymap. I mean, there's a fair few floating around. If you whack that link into your learning management system or into your library management system as well, and your students click on it, they'll log in through EdPass just like you and go ahead and watch the video. It should all be pretty straightforward, fingers crossed. You can also, if you're so inclined, use the embed code to embed that video directly within the platform as well. So it's not taking students out into the platform where they might get distracted by other bits and bobs. It's just actually within your learning management system, they'll watch that video. So that is also a handy tip there if you feel like embedding. And I know that our platform also integrates with the majority of learning management systems as well. So if you're a new customer and you don't have that integration, please reach out to me. As I said, we'll send out a few details afterwards, and we can see if we can get you set up with that so you can get ClickView videos where they need to go. This button here, the clips button, as you can see, I've used this quite a few times, and I use a lovely naming system for my clips. But essentially, you're able to take a longer form piece of content and break it down. So go create a clip. And this video is not too bad. It's 8 minutes long. Just as a side note, research shows that in a primary school scenario, 4 minutes is how long you've got before half your kids fall asleep. And secondary, it's 6 minutes. So you don't have long. 8 minutes, probably not too bad with a few points of interaction in there. But you do have a very short period of time to retain students' attention. So do keep that in mind. Having said that, we want to make this into a 2-minute clip there. So we're going to drag our blue bars once we've hit create a clip. Give it some kind of nice title. Again, probably something a little bit better than that. You can change your start and end time down to the second. You've got your description there if you want, and then you can hit create a clip. And you probably won't clip the same video 13 times like I have, but there's your clip there. If I press the share button and again, give my students that link or embed that link into the learning management system, they'll only watch that short segment rather than the whole thing. So it's a really great way of just sort of putting the blinkers on and getting those focus points in. The last thing I'll show you on the video layer is just this add to a playlist button. So I'll click on that. And again, naming conventions for the playlists are working beautifully. I might go with English. I think I've already got English. So I might go with English 2 and hit create. And you can see this video is actually in a couple of playlists already. It's got a little tick box next to it if it's in the video, and it's got a little plus on it if it's not in the if it's not in the playlist as of yet. So you can basically add your video to as many playlists as you want, or if you didn't mean to add to your Shakespeare video into your Australian animals playlist, you can of course click and take that away. And it's as simple as that to create a playlist. Now, to find your playlists, also pretty simple. There's a handy button up the top, playlists. Here's my English playlist I just made, and then we've got one video in there. So very, very straightforward. Now, there's a few key sort of ways that I recommend teachers use playlists. Number one is as a favorites box. So just for your knowledge, and again, those schools who are already ClickView customers probably know how much content we add to the platform on a monthly basis, but there's about 100,000 videos in the platform already. And each month we're adding 100, 200, 300, 400 videos to the platform. So it's really easy to do a search, throw a few filters in, and maybe I found a video on page 2 that was perfect, awesome. And then I go to find that next week. Change the filters slightly, maybe there's been new content that's been added in that's put it down the page a little bit, whatever it might be, I can't find that video anymore. Obviously, if it's in a playlist, it's not going anywhere. So great as a favorites box. You can build out subject areas in here as well. And the reason I would say it's great to do that is because if you actually want to share, say, I'll find an example with more videos in it. Here we go. This is probably a little bit big, but this playlist, has 45 videos in it. Now I can choose the order that these videos actually appear in. So I actually want this video to be the second video, whatever it might be. I can have a play around with that. And then I can share using the share button up the top and using this link, that playlist with a group of students. And then they've got 45 videos or however many videos in one link rather than having to go and click on 45 different links or click into 45 different embedded videos. It's all in one place. So really great if you wanted to share a large amount of content with a group of students. The most extended way to use that is to actually create playlists based on where each of your students are at, based on their learning levels. So you might have an extension playlist with a couple of extra videos that would benefit some of your students. You might have a playlist that actually has a few simpler videos, so they don't feel like they're out of their depth. And then you can obviously give playlists to groups of students based on where they're at and what you think they're going to benefit from. So really good way to differentiate there as well. And obviously once your playlists are in here, they're not going anywhere. So yeah, it's going to save you a lot of work in the long run. That is the stuff on a video layer and the playlists in a nutshell. Were there any questions that popped up about that, Abigail?
No one's asked anything, so either they're all scared or you've explained it extremely well.
Let's go with part 2. Awesome. Cool. So we've done that, playlists. The final way I'll kind of show you to search really, really briefly is you can actually just pop in and have a bit of a browse. So I'm just going to go libraries. I'm going to go secondary library, and I'm keen to see the types of careers content that ClickView has. So I'm going to scroll down, pop into the personal development folder over here and into the careers folder. And then I've just got a bunch of different videos around careers, whether that's specific careers, whether that's interview skills, whatever it might be. I've got a heap of different videos there. Oh, look, there's some study skills videos here as well. Really great content around this sort of stuff and internet safety as well. I actually saw up here, it's talking about creating passwords. This series we did here, we released in, I think, October, November last year, is essentially a series around online safety. And you can probably tell it looks like Minecraft. Students absolutely love it. I've got a Minecraft server up and running myself, so I'm a big fan of the Minecraft skin as well. Yeah, no, we try and keep content obviously really, really relevant, but we know what students like to watch as well to keep that engaging. So some really good series in this side of things that you may not expect. You can also click on Exchange. However, I possibly wouldn't go Exchange categories. I think if you guys click into yours, mine doesn't show the number of videos in here anymore, but I know that this folder here has like 1,600 videos. I think this one's 1,500. There's about 1,000 children's films in here. So you can immediately see if you start clicking into these folders and then going to page 52, it's probably not going to be the best use of your time. The ClickView libraries, the videos that we've obviously produced are a little bit smaller and a little bit more, let's just say, particular to certain subject areas. So with this stuff, it comes up in a search. Use your searches, use your filters and things like that, and you're going to find great content in here. But clicking through and having a browse, I wouldn't recommend is the best use of your time. But you do you. If you find good stuff that way, then absolutely go for it. There is, however, if I click on Exchange, this featured channel section. And in here, these are teachers around Australia who've asked to have a featured channel with us. Jeremy, I think he might have moved now, but up until last year, he was the assistant principal at CView, just around the corner from me. I know Amy made a lot of these videos when she was over at Brighton Secondary. Somewhere down here, where's Robert? There he is. Robert is the arts teacher at Unley High School. So there's a lot of South Australians on here. There's more that I've just skipped over, but teachers from all around Australia who upload their own lessons and put them in here. Please have a bit of a browse, use them. They are great content, and I really recommend it. You might have a day where, I don't know, say you're a science teacher and you're out sick or you're away at a conference and you find out that the PE teacher's coming in to teach your lesson. Okay. That's not going to work. The PE teacher doesn't know how to teach science. Of course he doesn't. So I'm going to get a video of Science Steve or a couple of videos of Science Steve, flick that through to them. They can just play those videos and then sort of ask the questions as they come up. And yeah, if they need to go out and play dodgeball for the last 20 minutes or, finish up for lunch a little bit early, then they can do that. But at least you've got a teacher in there who's a specialist in your discipline, who's also a specialist in creating lessons and flipped lessons to sort of run that in your absence. So good tool there. Also really, really good if you've got a student you've explained something to 58 different times and they just don't get it. Potentially one of these teachers might explain it in a slightly different way that resonates with that student. So yeah, you've got a lot of tools there within the exchange as well.
Hayden, we've just got a question about libraries, and I know you haven't really covered this yet, but a question from Jenny. If a folder has been created in libraries and we add videos to another subfolder, e.g. behind the news, can all teaching staff view the latest episodes? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yep.
That does make sense. Yeah. So this is a question that as a general teacher, you may not, you will have, because obviously you can go into folders. We have the ability in ClickView, and this is where I was saying every school set up slightly different. So if I go into the libraries now on a completely new school, you'll have a primary, a secondary, and a movies and TV, like a curated list of videos. The school has the ability to create their own school library and upload TV shows to it, upload movies, restructure the folders, upload their own content that they produce or that their students have produced into a ClickView library that is a very safe space, safer than YouTube. You need a password to get in, that sort of thing. So there is the opportunity for that as a top level explanation. Now, if you upload a video into the library, this is what it will look like as a teacher. So this is my school library. So essentially, let's say, for example, we went into English and then maybe there was a subfolder within here. But the way this will work is it should actually, if I'm not mistaken, it should actually list the videos based on when they were added to the library. So any of the latest things that you add to your school library, and you show them where the folders are or link them to the folders, it should be in the latest order of what they were produced or what they were added to the ClickView library. Does that kind of answer your question?
I'm not sure. Maybe Jenny can come off mic to clarify, but from me, she said excellent. From me, if in the library section, if I do want to add a series such as Behind the News, do I need to add each individual episode as it comes up, or can I add the series as a series and the videos will automatically come in?
No, that's a great question. As of this point in time, it has to be done as each individual video. It's something that we're looking into for the new platform when that comes at the end of this year-ish. Don't quote me on that. I didn't tell you that. I don't have an exact date on it, but there's a new platform coming with some new features around Library Editor and things like that. So currently, it has to be done one video at a time, unfortunately. We've spoken for a long time about getting series in. The coding around that, as I understand it, is a little bit complicated, but I'm not a developer. So I'm just like, where's the button to press to do this? And they say it's a little bit more complicated than that. So long answer, turn short, not at this point, but it is something we're looking into. TV side of things, I won't touch on this today, just because I'm conscious of time. You can see up here there is a TV button, and I'm in Victoria at the moment, but you will be able to select your region and dive in here and basically download your own TV programs and things like that. Now, your 7:30 reports, your Q&As, your behind the newses, all those sorts of things, ClickView actually records automatically. And you can actually see under TV Guide here what we're recording automatically for schools to be able to use. So a lot of the stuff we're going to grab automatically, but there is the opportunity if you had maybe there was something on Sunrise that you wanted to go and grab, you can dive into TV and do that and save it to your workspace. Again, time constraints, I won't show you in detail, but I'll show you a way you can have a little bit of a look in your own time. And if you do get stuck, as I've said, just give me a buzz or flick me an email. Workspace, just very briefly, is where your TV shows will go. You can see I've obviously downloaded Home and Away in a PD at some point. Like, trust me, it wasn't for myself. I was more of a Neighbours guy. Anyway, the upload a video button is also handy. So this is where, if you as a teacher are creating any of your own content, you can go in here, select a video file from your laptop, give it a title, give it a rating, and also under advanced settings, you can add in your own resources. So if you've got worksheets and PowerPoints and things that you want to live alongside that video for your students to access, you can put that all in ClickView for them to use. Again, it's a safe space. And if you do go down that library pathway, you can obviously create folders for specific subjects where you're uploading your content and things like that. So that's really handy. Now, the last thing I want to touch on very, very briefly, again, we won't be able to dive into too much detail, is the interactive videos. I'm just popping back to the dashboard here to find you a good example. I've used this one today already. I was in a training session just before. So if I mouse over this video, you can see rated E. Question comes up, what's E? E is for educational. It's basically equivalent to G. It's got an orange interactive button and it's got the timestamp. So that means that there is an interactive that has been pre-made for this video. Just pause that. Scroll down, and here is that interactive videos button I skipped over before. So you got your info, your share, your clips like I showed you before, and interactive videos. And I can see here there's a great one that Ingrid's done for us. So I'm going to click play on that. And the immediate difference you'll notice is that along the timeline at the bottom, there's these colored bars. So when we get to this part of the video is going to pause and a question is going to pop out. You can obviously use this as an opportunity to have a bit of an in-class discussion with your students, get them to reply or whatever it might be. You can print any of these out as worksheets as well. So the video is going to pause, you give them 2 minutes to answer the question, you hit play and move on. Or students can log in. You might have embedded this into your learning management system. And because they're logged into their own account, they can fill out an answer, hit the save button, and that answer will actually get saved and sent back to you as a teacher. And in the case of a multiple choice question or a true or false question, it'll actually get marked by itself as well. So that'll save time on the marking front. In a nutshell, how to use this is you find a video that's interactive. You have a quick look at the question list to see if it's relevant for your class or not. Again, save yourself the time playing the whole video and looking through. You can just pop into the question list. You have your print as a worksheet option there. So you can print that off as a worksheet if you would like. However, if you want to embed this for students to complete, you're going to save it to your workspace to make a copy. And you'll get all of these options. But I like to think you might do this on a Tuesday, need to come back to it next week or 2 weeks later. So all you need to do is when you log into ClickView for the next time, go to your workspace, pop into interactive videos here, and here's that interactive video we just saved. So we can then share, put that link wherever it needs to go, or embed that link. Students will complete the questions and we'll get the answers back. To give you a very, very top level look at what that looks like, I'll go to page 500 of my interactives. Here we can see view results, and you're able to actually get a sense of how your class has done. Dive into each of the individual questions and see how it was sort of achieved. So this question I'm probably going to revisit with my whole class, but I can give Craig here some extension work. And you can even dive into each individual student's data. You can see what their answers are like, and you can also see there's a little bit of orange before each of the questions. The rest of that bar's black. The orange means they watched it, and the black means they skipped it. So in this scenario, we can see Nat's actually just gone in, skipped each of the answers, skipped each of the questions, put an answer in and not watched the video. Again, he's really struggled. I think he got 1 out of 5 right. So our discussion with Nat then is going to be about study skills and things like that, rather than potentially trying to reteach the topic because he didn't even attempt to learn the topic in the first place. So it's a really powerful tool. Again, this is a little bit of a crash course, more advanced. For me, my recommendation would be log in, find some videos, make a bit of a playlist and get comfortable with that side of things. Maybe make a clip or something. And then once you're really comfortable with that, we might spend a little bit more time looking at the interactives in a bit more detail, some of the pedagogy behind them and things like that. But in a nutshell, that is the interactives for you. So that is a very, very top level look at ClickView. Hopefully, at the very least, you will feel comfortable logging in and having a play and finding some good content in there. As I said, everything from your general capabilities, lots of languages, content, really good health and well-being content as well. I'll just pop back into here. But are there any questions about the platform that you did want me to jump through again before we sort of finish off with the final Q&A?
Please feel free to come off your mic and ask or type in the chat.
Did see something pop up, but I'm sharing my
Yeah,
screen.
that's a comment rather than a question. So Jenny's just said it's been very informative.
Oh, great. Thanks, Jenny. All right. Well, on that note, as I said, I'm going to send through details after this. We'll send them through the department's, obviously, lines of communication. But a little bit about me. So I've been working with ClickView for a number of years. I'm a team leader within our sort of customer success unit. So I look after all of Adelaide and South Australia. I also look after and work with some schools over in Tassie. So that's kind of where my expertise is. Under me, I've also got Christine over in WA and Maddie up in Queensland. But we've got a customer success team of a huge wealth of experience, ex-teachers and things like that. So if there's something I can't answer, between us we'll manage, and we also have a great support unit as well. So we'll send you through all the details of that, as well as how to access the landing page for the department, knowledge-based articles, and any key contact details. But if you do ever get stuck, please feel free. My phone number's there. We'll send it on. Just give me a buzz or flick me an email. That's what I'm here for. As I said, next steps, log in, find some content to help with the lesson tomorrow, or if you are finishing up for the night, which is fair enough, maybe play around during your lunch break tomorrow and find some stuff for the lesson early next week. And also, if you find a scenario, get your students to log in and get comfortable with the platform. This isn't just for you to share content with your students. Whilst that's a great use case, it is also a great platform for any units of inquiry you might be doing. Rather than sending your students out to YouTube, which might come up with various ads, or who knows what might come up on the Play Next area, you've got them in ClickView. They're safe. There's also rating restrictions that are done automatically. So your year 8 and year 7 students aren't going to be able to watch MA films or anything like that. There's a safe environment for them to find really, really great content that's been curated for them. And again, as I've mentioned a few times now, it's all aligned to the curriculum. So get them to dive in and have a bit of a look. I did have a questions tab there, but we've kind of already done that. So I'll end there.
Sorry,
and say,
Hayden. I might jump in with one, because we do have at least one teacher online who's in a primary school. Now, if their school doesn't currently have a ClickView subscription, is there a way for them to get like a trial subscription if they're not part of our enterprise agreement?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we work with a lot of primary schools. So, I mean, just a few examples. Unley Primary School, Goodwood, Linden Park, just to name it, Ard Cornish over on the other end of town. So, a lot of primary schools do use ClickView already. Slightly different platform as well. So, that's based on what the new platform will be. So, I might, if you do get a trial, I might have to come out and show you that. Please just reach out to me directly via email. I don't organise any of the trials or things like that. That's all done by our business development managing team. So I only work with schools who are current customers. But have a chat to them. Come to me by email. I'll put you onto the right person, and we can get you set up with a trial so you can have a bit of a look at ClickView, the new platform, and
Perfect.
That's
Thanks,
basically
Hayden.
that. Brilliant. Well, I will stop sharing, and I suppose we'll hang around for another couple of minutes. So If anyone does want to ask any questions briefly before we go and wanted to do it once people have left, go for it. But if you're heading off, it's been great to chat, and I'm sure I'll see you out and about at some point in the near future. Thank you.
Thanks, Hayden. And I might stop the recording now, but thank you those people that have joined live. Hopefully you found the session interesting and informative, and you can take some of the things that Hayden has shown you away to use with your students tomorrow or in the near future.